I saw something very interesting on Twitter.
What should we do if a parent requests that we refer to their child by the pronouns associated with their sex assigned at birth instead of their preferred pronouns or their pronouns? And that we use their legal name instead of a student's chosen name?
So I could respond with something that I've done. This came up for me. It's come up in a couple different ways, but it's come up for me where caregivers asked, I actually referred to their child's name in an IEP meeting using the name that the child had asked to be referred to and their chosen pronouns. And the caregivers reacted really strongly and then followed up with me and the principal and said, like, I noticed that you were using a different name than my child's given name at birth and the pronouns that we gave them. And I'm respectfully asking that you use the name and the pronouns that we gave them. So the laws in every state are different, obviously, and I can't speak to the laws in everyone's particular state. But I will say, again, the resources that we'll give you after this have some helpful sites where you can go and look up what the rules are for your state. But before I responded to the caregiver, I made sure that I had I ran it by my principal and my superintendent just to make sure that that they had my back. And then I responded, I chose my words carefully and I said, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. I tried to really like affirm what the caregiver was asking me. Like in terms of, I was like, I hear you saying that, you're feeling uncomfortable with me, using the child's preferred name and pronouns. And I hear that you're using different ones at home. Here at school, the expectation is that all of my students feel comfortable and welcome in my classroom. So in my classroom, I will refer to your child by whatever name and pronouns that they've told me they feel most comfortable with. And just had that be it. Almost like the guidelines that I try to use when I'm like explaining hard topics to my students, like less is more. I just say like, it sounds like that really works for you at home and you can absolutely choose to do whatever you'd like at home in my classroom. And I even say like every year I start out my year by like sending home information to caregivers that says like, just so you know, like this is an affirming class. Like one of the ways I affirm students is I call them by the names that they asked to be called by and use their correct pronouns. So just like really, I just told them that maybe that's not helpful, but I just told them no. Like respectfully no. And because I had my principal and my super's support, there wasn't much they could do. And they eventually kind of found another like topic to like squawk about, and they sorry, it's not professional, but anyway, and they left that alone. They kind of got over it.
Similarly to what Kieran said, at my school district, LGBTQ plus students have a Bill of Rights. And the fourth one is that they have the right to be referred to by their gender pronoun and name that fits their gender identity. And similarly, there was a situation where a parent felt that the school was not doing what they wanted them to do. And I don't know if we were even respectful about it. We were just like, no, that's sorry. Like our district-wide rule is that the student determines that, not you, even though you are the parent.
Ours is the same. And again, it really speaks to where you're working, what the district is, the state laws, and having the backing of your administration and your superintendent and the district that says this is our policy, and I'm going to follow the policy.
And one day her trusted art and homeroom teacher invited her to stay after school for art club. So she texted us and we gave our permission. Of course you can stay for art club. When she arrived in the classroom that day, she very quickly learned that it was actually GSA art club, or gender and sexuality awareness. And her trusted teacher had invited in an outside presenter to speak with the children. This presenter started with her number one rule: what you hear in here stays in here. She then brought out flags to describe different umbrella terms or defining words, as she called them, and how people feel under each of the flags. She explained to my daughter that if she is not 100% comfortable in her female body, then she's transgender. She then gave out flags, stickers, bracelets, and what she called the obligatory toys that kids love to collect everywhere I go. She then told the kids that parents aren't safe, and that it's okay to lie to them about where they are in order to attend this meeting and also future programming that she holds throughout the community, both online and in person. Some of the programming is actually includes adults. So she's got 12-year-olds in these meetings secretly with adults. She told the kids that she brought out the genderbread activity. I don't know if you've ever seen that before, but
I have.
The genderbread person activity, which explains that gender and sexuality are on a spectrum and that neither can ever be binary. It explicitly asked the kids who they're sexually attracted to. There was 11, 12, and 13-year-olds in the room when this happened. She doubled down that parents aren't safe, that heterosexuality and monogamy are not normal. And she then proceeded to hand out her personal contact information to the kids, encouraging them to connect with her without their parents' knowledge, by cell phone, by email, and by teen chat platforms like WhatsApp and Discord, where parents can't see the communication. She also sends them invites to her secret meetings through these channels.
A community of people who spend their time letting you know that you should respect their sexuality, their pronouns, and their identity and their sex is not doing the same courtesy for parents who feel their child is being gaslit because their kid mind isn't fully developed and they're being told things that could alter how they think and view themselves. This same group is somehow going around inviting kids to certain areas and presenting it as, hey, this is what we're doing. But as soon as the kid walks in, this is what we're actually doing. And they're really putting in the work to let you know that your parents are people you shouldn't be trusting or talking to about this. You should keep this a secret so that you could be more comfortable with yourself, because heterosexuality and monogamousness is all a problem. And you should embrace all these different things that you may think you are, but you may not know who you are. And what's weird about all these different conversations about sex, transitioning, pronouns, and all these different things is that there's a concerned effort to never talk about those who experience those types of things, but then as they grow later in life, they start to not think about those things anymore. Or if there's somebody that did transition, they end up detransitioning because they feel as though this wasn't who they really were. It makes it all seem as if people are just trying to force it onto younger individuals. I know that there's a conversation about that, and I know one side seems to think it's actually going on, and then the other side is saying, how dare you discriminate against us? We're just trying to teach kids about all these different things. But when you look at how some people try to move, that argument grows a little bit stronger. You have people actually sitting there and thinking these individuals, whether if they're lesbian, bi, trans, gay, are doing what needs to be done to target kids and put it in their mind that they may be something that they're not. And I would argue that's a dangerous route to go. And I understand the talking point of, well, kids are well developed and they understand all these things and they're capable of knowing what they are and what they aren't, and how dare you try to close off their minds, and you're hurting the rights of trans kids and blah, 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 blah. And if that's your stance, you should never be complaining about a child being taught how to use a gun because a kid is well developed and they're ready and they know all these things. It's weird seeing a group of people who claim to be so proud about their sexualities only speak about it towards kids and then tell those kids to hide it from their parents. It doesn't seem like you're proud and you want people to learn about it. It seems like you want the most impressionable on your side so that you could feel more comfortable about yourself. And if that's the case, that is truly fucking sad. You shouldn't be hiding this information from the parents. You should be letting them know about this, because guess what? Every parent isn't a bigot who hates sexuality and transgenders and bisexuals. There are people who will actually sit down with you and want to learn about it with their kids because maybe they don't know anything about it. But when you're taking the time to hide it, you're going to get more parents upset because yes, there are people out there, not everybody, not the entirety. There are some people out there who like to pretend to be activists and heroes and educators who care about these young kids, when lo and behold, they just want to touch a kid's ass, and that's disgusting. And parents have reasonable concern about all that, especially when you're an educator who's hiding information from parents and you're giving your personal contact information to kids. I'm not surprised that parents are more pissed off about that. So in the future, if you're taking the time to educate a bunch of people and parents have concerns about what's being taught or how you're respecting the kid and you're not respecting the wishes of the parent, don't have this weird mentality of your child is not yours, it's the community's. You should respect the community's wishes in how to raise your child because you're nothing but a bigot. Shut your ass up and respect that parent. Talk to that parent, educate that parent if you feel the need to, but don't be so entitled that you think you know everything and you have control over somebody else. That is a child that is not yours. You did not birth that thing. You didn't have sex to make that thing. Give up that charade and actually spend time being reasonable instead of some whiny entitled bastard desperate for people to like you. Subscribe to the channel. I'll see y'all in the next one. Goodbye.